What's up, everybody? Today we are doing a review of Lancashire Mead Company's mead. I'm very, very excited for this one. I want to preface it by saying I was down in Glastonbury in December, and they had some of Lancashire Mead's. I don't know which one it was. It wasn't these two, but they had like an orange flavoured one in a pub down there, and I tried it and it was phenomenal. I was very excited, so I've been very, very excited to try this. The ethos seems to align with kind of what we're going for when it comes to mead and the process of making it. We'll get into all that. I'm very excited about this one. We ordered these two, which specifically the Balder's one, Balder, is a Mead Madness Cup winner. It got gold at the Mead Madness Cup, which is a big kind of like competition in Poland in 2019. So I've got big expectations for this one. And then they are both, I am pretty sure, naturally fermented. So wild fermented and wild fermented, which I didn't even know what wild ferment was.
No, when we ordered these, it was the first time we read the descriptions of each one, and we were a bit like, what does that mean, wild fermenting? So we've been using dry yeast to create the alcohol in our mead so far, and it was only when we ordered these we discovered wild fermenting and what that entails, and then it sent us down a bit of a rabbit hole of how we might like to go forward rather than using the process that we have been doing for the past 3 batches.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny because every time we've been talking about making our own mead, it's always been, we don't want any chemicals in it, we don't want any additives in it, we don't want to take away anything from the natural process, and we were still using yeast because we presumed you had to, but I guess you don't have to, and that's why our ethos kind of aligns with the Lancashire Mead Company, because it literally says on the back, free from artificial colours, flavours, gluten, fish, wheat, gelatin, dairy, eggs, and I'm pretty sure they free from sulfates, which is a big thing as well for like stopping the fermenting process. Super basic in a way, and traditional, which is definitely in line with our ethos.
Yeah, so on our 3rd batch we was following the recipe by Omni-Mead, and that did say, sulfites and carbonates and stuff like that, just to help with stopping that fermenting process and also giving it some longevity in terms of keeping it in the bottle for longer. But it seems that they've found a process in which you don't really need to do any of that, and it still, holds up and holds up on its flavour. Probably holds up in the bottle as well, so it's longer lasting too. Yeah. And doesn't interrupt anything with the flavour. I assume the carbonates and sulfites don't really do much for the flavour, other than dealing with like the yeast side of things and the fermentation. But in terms of not adding anything other than, in terms of these bottles as well, honey, water, and then products that have a natural fermentation process, so wild fermenting with what would be natural yeasts on the fruit and stuff like that, rather than having dry processed yeast. Yeah,
and I've noticed that in a couple of them, now the one I had down in Glastonbury had an orange flavour tint to it, but what I did notice is a lot of them do have orange juice from concentrate in it, and I'm wondering if that's some sort of ingredients they use for that process of fermenting, because quite a few of them have that in it, which maybe we'll find out pretty soon.
Yeah, the only other ingredient on both of these is the yeast nutrient, which is basically just something to support the natural yeast in this anyway. So we're using fermented at the minute. We're using it on the day that we mix things up, and then 2 days afterwards as well. So it must be a part of the process just to give the yeast a bit of a boost. Because there is still natural yeast on the the ingredients that they are using. It's just that it's not the packaged yeast that we're used to.
Yeah, and I'm presuming that most companies go down the route of using these different chemicals because it's more of a safer option, right? They're not relying on the natural process. They're kind of doing it themselves, and I think that I'm presuming, and that's all we can do at this point, right, is that this company has nailed it down so much that they don't have that much worry about you know, a batch going bad or something like that because they've figured out exactly to a T what they need to do. Because my worry would be if we're doing it completely natural is every now and again you've got to account for a certain batch just going bad.
Yeah, how much control do you have over it?
Exactly. Which we might find out very soon. We've spoke to them. They're really, really nice.
Yeah, so we ordered off their website, and Anne was very kind to send us a thank you letter actually with our order, which is lovely. And they have invited us to go and take a look at how they do things sometime.
Yeah, so we're going to find out. Yeah, we are going to find out, which I'm very excited for. So let's get into the review. Let's start with the one that hasn't won the awards, right? So we'll leave the award one for last.
Okay.
Let's talk about these bottles.
Yeah. So,
I feel like the camera doesn't do it justice.
Yeah. I mean, you can probably pick up the fact that there's quite a large space between the bottom of the mead to the bottom of the actual bottle. They're really thick. They feel very sort of like...
Premium.
Premium, yeah. If you were giving this as a gift, you'd be like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah. It does feel very premium. The label is kind of like this matte finished label. So the only other bottle that I've been super impressed with before these was Y Valley or Hive Mind Mead, right? I think their bottles are genuinely stunning. The artwork on it's stunning.
Yeah.
There's something about a square, like the rigid edges of this bottle that just feels that little bit more premium.
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely more like... So if you think about the vibe they're going for, they're definitely leaning into the Norse mythology of the mead, right? Which is what a lot of companies do. I feel like the rigidness of the bottle kind of brings that up a bit more. Like it adds to that kind of like... You know, when you see like Norse artwork and stuff, it's like classic natural curves or straight edges, and it's very stone-esque. And I feel like this lends to that.
Yeah, I think it adds to the idea that like you pour in a premium drink. Not to say that other drinks aren't, it's just that we're used to seeing wine bottles, beer bottles.
Them one's right behind us here.
Yeah.
So we're used to this, right?
That's lovely, by the way. Go and check out our review of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems like more of a importance to it. Like you're going to open this and be like, you've got to try this, mate. And
yeah, it feels more like a classy drink.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with the label. I love the design. I love the imagery.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm a big fan of is I've got an eye for the design of these bottles. I think they've done a really good job with that. Both of these drinks are exactly 14.5% ABV, which is interesting. I'm wondering if that's across the board. But let's get started with this one. Freya's Mead. They sent us a couple of books as well that come with it. One I'm pretty sure is just mythology about the Norns.
Yeah.
And then this one talks a little bit about the Lancashire Mead Company and then goes into the drinks themselves. Now, I'm not going to read about the Lancashire Mead Company. If you want to check that out, you can go over to the website and look at the About Me tab. We'll leave a link down below to the Lancashire Mead Company's website as well. But let me read the ingredients for the Freya's Mead as well as the little bit of text it's got for it. The ingredients is water, honey, pure orange juice concentrate, and yeast nutrition. That's it. That is it. Freya, Old Norse meaning lady, is one of the preeminent goddesses in Norse mythology. She is the goddess associated with love, beauty, fertility, war, wealth, divination, and magic. So quite a lot, actually. This mead is a melomel, fruited honey mead, which a melomel is any mead that's fermented with fruit. Using wildflower honey, so has a slightly earthier edge. It is a wild fermented, no yeast is added. We use natural yeast present in the honey, which is incredible.
Right, okay.
And the orange juice added to the fermented process. So the orange juice must do something.
Yeah, so both the honey and the orange has natural yeast elements to it.
The medium sweet recipe with the addition of orange juice concentrate gives a slightly softer and fruitier taste with a citrus edge. It is a firm favourite with drinkers of cider, medium sweet white wines. Freya can be served warm, room temperature, cold, or over ice. It can be paired with spicy dishes or on its own. She matures extremely well. If you can hold onto the bottle for 3 years or more, you will not be disappointed.
Wow, okay. That's interesting. Come back to it in 3 years' time and have a slightly different experience.
I know, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? So
I'll just
These
move this one out of the way
bottle
for a sec.
tops are very reminiscent of hive minds as well.
Yeah.
Which I do like this design. It's obviously it's much easier to just pop it back on once you've done with a drink. Give this a smell.
What time are we on? It is currently 10 to 11 in the morning.
It smells much stronger.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? You can smell the orange,
Yeah.
the citrusiness. You can smell that sort of, yes, it's alcohol. More of a scent of like a white wine kind of.
Yeah. The clarity is crazy.
Yeah.
Both of these bottles, the clarity is very impressive. You ready?
Aye.
That might be my favourite so far.
It's very fresh.
It smells really strong, but then when you drink it, it's not harsh at all.
No.
It's got the fruitiness there of the orange, which I think takes away from the harshness of the 14.5% ABV.
Yeah. And I think that's what gives it that freshness when you taste it. It's like, whew. Very technical term there.
That's incredible.
I love that.
So I just want to bring this one back over. The Wake and the Demon one that we reviewed. A very, very sweet mead.
Like a mellow sweet.
It's a mellow sweet. And I like it, but it'll definitely be too sick. Like I've had 2 glasses of these the other day with our dad. And after 2 glasses, it was kind of sickler. Right? It was good. I could still drink it. It was kind of sickler. That, on the other hand, I feel like I could drink that for quite some time.
Yeah.
Around a fire,
It sounds daft.
telling some stories.
Yeah, like a lot of mead gets compared to wine because it is technically like a bit of a honey wine. You've also got the ones that lean into a little bit more like beer. This one, I would say, if you like wine and if you also like a bit of whiskey, you'd like a drink of this because it's got that like broad taste that a whiskey would have. You know when you take a sip of it and it just sort of like it doesn't hit you. It's sort of like you sip and you go, oh yes, that's got that like I keep saying the word fresh, like it hit me on the tongue and was just like flavour. Like you've got that
straight away
orange
flavour.
Yeah, the citrusiness.
Yeah, and the flavour came first before the alcohol. The flavour was there first. Everything from the clarity, the taste, the smell, the bottle, to me, screams premium.
Yeah.
It just tastes premium. It tastes like you've got a really premium product, right?
Yeah. It smells a little bit caramelly when I finished the drink now and I'm just smelling that. And you can almost get like, you get the honey.
You do get like a honey
and
caramel.
It's like a honey caramel, yeah. Very nice.
Only £25.
Really?
For this bottle.
Wow.
Both bottles were £25. I honestly think that might be my favourite. The price is great. It feels like the most premium one we've had so far.
Yeah.
Right? The only one close to it is Y Valley. Or Hive Mind. I don't know if are they going for the Hive Mind now then? I think they've changed to Hive Mind, haven't they? Hive Mind was the first one we reviewed, which was fantastic, which is a premium mead, in my opinion, which was a really good mead that I think is a good combo if you made a cocktail with it. This, I feel like, doesn't need to be a cocktail.
Yeah. So in the book, it said that it could be enjoyed over ice.
Yeah, oh, I bet it would be really good over ice.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Jack Daniel's honey, and always pour that over a bit of ice and sip on that. That has that same experience, obviously with a much more smoother, nicer taste to it.
With a bit of a sweeter taste as well.
Yeah, and over ice.
That's incredible.
Yeah, sitting down on like
around a fire or something.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with that. Should we try the one that's won awards? Considering this, I don't know. I don't even. They might not have even put this into the running of the Mead Madness Cup. Like I don't know if
okay
they've put it into it. Right. So they do have two meads. I don't know why I said beards then. I think it's because I was looking at this.
Yeah.
2 meads that have won awards at the Mead Madness Cup. Both the Baldur's Mead and the, I don't even know how to say it, Aegir's Mead, which won silver. So gold, they won gold and silver.
Yeah, and that's with a hydromel and a melomel.
Yeah, which is very impressive. So this is a hydromel.
Yeah.
Which we're going to read all about. In fact, you can read all about this one if you'd like.
Are you sure you trust me to read out loud? Because I can't read.
I can read it if you want.
I'm not as good a reader as you are.
So the ingredients for this, which, considering this has won awards, is very impressive. So this one was water, honey, orange juice from concentrate, and yeast nutrition. This one is literally honey, water, yeast nutrition. That's it, which is crazy. Balder is the second son of Odin and Frigg, a bold warrior, one of the favourite of the Aesir gods. Balder is often interpreted as a god of love, peace, forgiveness, justice, light, and purity. This is a dry, pure honey mead using wildflower honey to give it a dry finish. We simply use slightly less honey. The wildflower honey gives it a deeper, earthier flavour without the sweet edge. It is the strongest honey tasting flavour in our range. This mead is wild fermented, again. It goes on to say the same stuff. A favourite of dry whiskey drinkers are those not blessed with a sweet tooth.
Right.
This mead was the first award winner, taking gold at the 2019 European Mead Madness Cup. Balder can be enjoyed at room temperature, cold over ice. It can be made into a long drink using tonic, soda, lemonade, if you prefer it a bit sweeter. So this is something that you could mix. Do you want to do the honours and crack in this one?
We left the wrapper on this just because we wanted to show that you're not going to be fighting either with like the plastic covering for the cork itself, because it comes with a nice little shiny tab.
Yeah.
And it just pulls off like that. There we go.
Off. Let's throw it
Plastic.
To the side. The colour is a lot lighter than this, and I'm presuming that's because of the orange concentrate that's done that.
Ooh.
Drier.
Yeah. Just pour us a little bit. It is.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Just shy of 11 o'clock in the morning.
I gotta go for a 4-mile run after this.
Lovely.
Like I'm back in the Marines, taking a drink and going for a run again. Oh wow, definitely drier. It definitely smells way more honey. Way more honey.
Yeah, you got more citrusy with that one.
Yeah.
This one's definitely got that musty honey smell.
Yeah. So it has a little bit of different writing on the back actually. Baldur's Mead is a dry hydromel using wildflower honey to give it a dry finish. We simply use slightly less honey. By using wildflower honey, we have a deeper, earthier flavour without the sweet edge. It is wild fermented to show the delicate intricacies of the honey.
Wow.
Okay, definitely drier.
Yeah.
I think that as someone who is blessed with a sweet tooth, this one goes down easy for me. This one has that little bit of burn, like a whiskey. Like it's literally like has that same kind of feel of drink as a whiskey does.
It's got such a different flavour to it than the other meads we've tried.
It does. It comes across straight away with the honey first, but subtle. It's not like overpowering honey. This is definitely more dry than sweet. And then the alcohol is definitely there.
But like it says on the label, you know, they use slightly less honey.
Yeah.
And it shows you've got less of that sugariness, but you can taste like the flavour of the honey.
Yeah.
Over all the other meads that we've had.
Yeah.
Like we've always been like, oh, it's very caramelly and it's very sweet and sugary. This doesn't have that like sugary edge to it.
But you are still, once you've taken a sip, you hit with honey first, then there's the alcohol, like you would with a whiskey. But then you're left with a little bit of sweetness at the very end.
Yeah, but I wonder if that's like the wildflower side of things and you're getting that sort of
I feel like that's what it is.
Yeah, the flavour of the honey just comes through after it.
And it's so subtle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that honey's, you're just left with a little tiny bit of honey there at the back. Absolutely great. Fantastic. Perfectly, I think this is definitely more reminiscent of the Wye Valley, the Hive Mind Mead. This is great to be mixed with something, in my opinion. You could have it just on ice.
Yeah.
But because I do have a sweet tooth, I would drink this more on its own. Whereas I would have this with, I don't know, a bit of, I'd mix it with a bit of something, personally. You know?
Yeah.
But it is a dry mead, and in my opinion, probably the best dry mead we've had so far.
To be fair, for me as well, this is probably the most unique flavour of...
Yeah.
Like standard meads, we've tried a few where it's literally just, it's not flavoured, it is just supposed to be like
mead.
just the honey kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this has the most unique flavour, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's because it's got less of a sharp sugar like kick, and you get more flavour like longer.
Yeah. Yeah, you do, don't you? It like sits on your tongue.
Yeah.
And it's not overwhelming. Which is interesting because when I don't usually drink dry drinks all that much because I have a sweet tooth. And yet when I drink this, it lingers, like the sweetness of the wild honey at the very end, which is it's not much, but it's enough to satisfy me on that sweet side without being too like, oh, it's too dry, like I can't drink that. Which I get personally with a lot of wines and whiskies, which I struggle to drink them. Whereas with that, I don't at all. I don't get that at all.
No.
But it definitely still has that dry quality to it.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to review them both.
It's a tough one.
This is a tough one. Out of 5 bloody L's, this for me might be the best one I've ever had. I'm going to give this I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 bloody L's.
Really?
I am, yeah. I'm trying to be critical and say, you know, well, I want room for growth with other meads.
Yeah, which we have done.
Which we have, but there's nothing here that's really, you know, not good in my estimates. The bottle quality is fantastic. The drink is fantastic. The quality is fantastic. The taste is fantastic. The ethos behind it.
Yeah.
The mentality behind a drink that is all natural. For me,
even with its yeast.
Even with its yeast,
Yeah.
it adds that. It's all little tiny things that stack up to, for my opinion, this is a 5 out of 5, which is the first time we've given a 5 out of 5 on the channel.
Yeah.
This one I'm going to give, and this is me subjectively because I'm not much more of a dry drinker, I'm going to give if I give it a 4.5, it's the same as Wye Valley. But I think it has the edge a little bit over Wye Valley.
Right.
I'm going to go with a 4.6.
Okay.
Just a little bit of an edge. And the reason, I think the drink quality in both of them are great.
Yeah.
I just think that the quality of the bottle, the clarity, if you remember the Wye Valley one wasn't super clear. And the ethos behind it. When I drink this, when you intake something, whether it's food or media or music or whatever, when it aligns with your ethos, it's just that little bit. It's just that little bit more special. And I think this one does that for me.
Okay. So I think my highest rating one was the Waking the Demon mead.
Yes, it was.
It's a nice, very mellow, sweet kind of mead. Plus, as well, an overall, like the package of it all, it's bullet for my Valentine. I love metal, so the whole vibe of it was really cool. I think I gave it a 4.2, did I?
I think it was around there.
So,
do this one first, then the dry one.
I immediately thought 4.4 for this.
Ooh.
It is, like you say, that overall, it's got everything about it. The flavour is great, and it is reminiscent of, it's much better than a Jack Daniel's honey, obviously. And it's different because it's mead and it's not whiskey. But it's got that ability, like you say, you put it over ice, and whether you're treating yourself to a drink after a hard day's work, or you sat down, you're watching a movie and you want to relax and have a really like premium feeling drink,
Yeah.
that over ice, that would be the perfect drink. So 4.4.
Yep.
And I think that's going to take some beating.
I think it is going to take some. And it still baffles me to think mead's expensive to make.
Yeah.
And it's only £25 as well.
Yeah. In such a premium bottle as well.
It's crazy.
The cost of not just the mead itself, but the packaging, the labelling, the things that come with it, you know, the explanations of like
all
the company, the drinks and stuff like that.
Which their logo design, this box with the LMC, I think is a fantastic, simple design.
Yeah. And this too, just leaning into that like Norse mythology thing. And then in the book as well, it does also tell you about a few of the other drinks that are aged for 5 years, aged for 3 years and stuff like that. So
so this might be that new range they've got.
Okay.
Because they have a range of drinks that are aged. Because if I remember correctly, the 5-year one was sold out when we were looking at it.
Well,
that might be what that book is for.
Yeah.
So we both give this our best rating,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
This, I am going to put it on par with Waking the Demon.
Wow.
Give it a 4.2 and it's completely different. The experience of that has been different to everything we've tried at the minute, and it's because it's way more subtle. The longevity of like the flavors that you get when you take a sip, the smell and everything, it's just really I found it dead interesting.
Yeah.
You know, like
it has an interesting profile to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I expected it to be like whack honey.
Yeah.
And it doesn't quite overpower it. It's like, yes, there's honey there, but there's the flavour of the honey. And stuff. And it's like much more of a journey when you take a sip.
Yeah, like if someone comes over to the house and they're like, I've never had mead before, I want to taste mead, this will always now be the one to go to.
Yeah, both of them.
Both of them.
Try that and then try that and tell me what you think. And you've got two totally different like flavours. So
we now basically rated these two as our favourite mead that we've tried so far.
Yeah.
Which is very impressive. It's very impressive. I think, again, the fact that they are in the direction that we're most interested in, which is the natural process.
Yeah.
Added the fact that the bottles are super premium, in my opinion, and genuinely stunning. It's a level above the rest.
Yeah.
It really is. I would love, do you know what I'd love? I'd love for them to attempt a session drink.
Yeah.
So a session drink is, so these are like 14.5 ABV. A session drink is anywhere between 4 to 8%, and it's usually a bottled kind of like reminiscent of what you would go and have at the pub or whatever, a session drink.
More of a beer kind of.
Yeah. And I wonder if you could get that same natural process but in a session drink. That would be very interesting.
That's something that we would also be able to take a look at when we master our flavours. I think we've still got a little bit of a ways to go. Yeah. But I think when we finally make a batch and go, this is it. Perfect, this is what we wanted. And then we can start messing with we have obviously like the higher alcohol end like bottle of mead. Yeah. And then we also try and reduce that and carbonate it maybe or whatever and make a bit of a session style ale.
I think that's a good idea. I'm very impressed. Very, very impressed. Any last words on Lancashire Mead Company?
I want to try more, especially considering they do have aged meads. And I think what we should do, like it says on the thing, come back in 3 years and try these and see if we have a different experience. And I think it's so interesting.
Yep. So let me count how many they actually have. I don't know if they're all in here. One. I can turn these pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a gift set. 6. Oh, elderberry. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
bloody hell,
14, 15 regular drinks, and then 3 aged drinks. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. If you're in the UK, there'll be a link down below. Go and check it out. Get yourself a bottle of this. Try a different flavour. Let us know in the comment section what you think of the other flavours. I think we are going to be trying quite a few of their drinks from here on out.
Yeah, and they've been very nice to us as well. They've given us a thank you note when we ordered, and they've said, you know, if you ever do fancy coming and seeing us, feel free to pop by.
Yeah.
I'd love to see how they do things. I'd love to see the
process.
setup that they've got. Yeah, I think it'd be so interesting.
And meet them.
Yeah. They've been dead lovely. It'd be nice to meet them.
Yeah, meet them and understand their process, understand why they've gone down the route they have, what got them into mead. Yeah.
Hopefully they'll give us some tips about wild fermenting rather than using the dry yeast as well, because that is, again, another route I think we should go down.
I agree.
Yeah.
I really do agree. I think it is definitely something that as soon as we learned about it, it kind of clicked with us, didn't it? We're like, oh, this is exactly what we want.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it out there. Yeah. Any last words?
No, just I'm excited and I want to try the range.
Yeah, I do as well. Well, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps with that mysterious YouTube algorithm that we know nothing about. Other than that, cheers.
Cheers.
That was good.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I can't get over how good that is.
I can't get over how different that one is.